refer to you as Killeen. So it's, but it suits you.
Yes, I've been called Killen before as a nickname.
I don't blame it. Well, it's Kylan Lunsford, previously of Taiwan Housing Project, which we played together before.
Yes.
But you have a new joint, which I can only term as kind of pop, no, forensic pop, which it's not really pop, but it's certainly like late night. It's almost like kind of 70s from the crypt, creepy girl, backyard attic basement. And I'm a forensic freak, so of course I was
Oh yeah,
attracted to
me too.
the mania. I just want to quote from your Bandcamp because I think this really sums up what you're doing. I'm just going to go a little brief, cut up of it because it's so this constant artifice state of balanced unsettlement is a testament to the harsh juxtaposition that frequents your work, sometimes hi-fi, sometimes low, more often than not. And the name of your new album is Custodians of,
Promiscuous.
oh, the name of your new album?
Yeah, the Custodians is the first one. But
Oh,
go
okay.
on. Sorry.
Okay, but what is the whole title? Custodians?
Of human succession.
Okay, we're talking about that because this is what this was from. Is traipsing sideways or zigzagging off on sharp diagonals. I like this part. Your caustic lyrics, packed as they are with potent bloodstream of unflinching surrealism, discomfiting satire, and impacted by her experience as healthcare union organizer, working through the pandemic as a sufferer of autoimmune disorder with no healthcare coverage. And you wonder why the bitch is a bit angry. I really love that description, and that's on your Bandcamp. I guess that's on your last album. So your new album, that
Yeah,
last album wasn't that long ago, was it?
the last album was 2 years ago, I guess. Or no, 3 years ago, maybe. It came out
Okay.
at it came out at the very end of 2022. So like
Okay.
November, like the
Okay.
end of November 2022.
Who put that out?
Ever Never out of New York.
And
Um,
is that what a lot of your videos are from that album, except for Promiscuous Genes? Is that from the new one?
no, actually there's two videos. Wait, how many videos are there from the last album? Sorry,
Well,
I sent it to you guys. I think there's two from the new album, three from the last
they're
album.
all carrying
Sounds
a
about right.
theme of late night forensics, bloody girly gore, dressing wacky, dancing wacky, and it's kind of like should be every teenage boy's nightmare.
Well, I was, to be honest.
Ah,
So, I
how
mean,
how so? How
in
so?
school, in school.
Were you teasing them? Were you crushing on them? Were you a predator? Like how were you a nightmare?
Well, I mean, it's like when you're in school, you're just fucking like teased
Yeah,
mercilessly.
everyone's teasing each other. Everyone's going at each other. It's like wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
I
like,
have to say, I was fortunately not involved in that game because what could they tease? I consider it a compliment. And then they're
yeah, I mean,
fucking
that was
about, but it was a different time because weirdos were the kings and queens of school back then.
right. And that was the
Yeah,
thing. It was like this weird sort of like dichotomy where it's like, well, I was a new kid. So like in third grade, I was the new kid. I would move from
first
this,
problem.
yeah, moved from the South with a Southern accent in the third grade to Northern Virginia, outside of DC, sort of like, well, Manassas. So it's like now it's like hours from DC, but then it was like under an hour from DC.
And it
But
should be instead of woman asses, man our asses.
yeah,
I'm
true.
renaming it. Same way Trump's renaming shit, I'm renaming it. There we go. From now on, shall be known as man our asses.
Where in the deep south did you come from
Well,
like
so I was born in West Virginia, in Bluefield, West Virginia, and I grew up, and I lived with my great grandfather. My dad was actually a coal miner, and so was my great grandfather. And my dad was doing it like while going to college at
whoa,
Blue.
whoa.
Yeah, it's
He knew he
insane.
had to
Like,
get out of the coal mines.
yeah, exactly. So he's doing mining engineering at Bluefield State College, and we were living with my great grandfather, and then he passed away, and then we moved to Tennessee, to Kingsport, Tennessee. And
Okay.
then from there, Northern Virginia. And so I was like the new kid. So then that's where I started getting teased. And I guess like initially up until 7th grade, basically. And I would, I was sort of like a wisecracker. Like I was really good at like people said like cut downs. So like I would just be like, "Oh, you want to go?" Like so, but then I got to 7th grade and I beat a bitch up. Oh, can I say? Oh, can I
Yes,
curse?
you can say
By the
anything you
way?
want. You can say anything
Okay.
you want.
That's the least that we curse.
Okay. So
Bitch
then
is a compliment unless you're beating the bitch up.
so I beat a girl up like the beginning, like maybe the first month of 7th grade, and then suddenly my nickname was Tyson, and then it was just like
It should
from
have
there.
been Killing.
Yeah, exactly. And then so from there, it was just like people were like scared of me, and I was hanging out with like the cholas and the the women because we wore the same makeup. It was like they had like the black eyeliner and the dark lipstick. So
And
it was
that's
like
enough. And that's enough to gain some respect sometimes.
totally. And then it's like they were ready to listen to like the Clash and like
Yeah.
Sex Pistols or whatever. They're like, okay, because like we were in like shop together and just like fuck around, and there was a record player in shop, like
Oh, cool.
to do like radio, pretend like you're doing radio broadcasts.
Okay.
And the teacher was into, yeah, it was weird. And the teacher was in, I think it was like his thing. He was into punk. So he had, like, he was an old guy, but he had
And we
been...
need more teachers into punk.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it was great.
You're near
it
the
was...
DC area. It's part of the culture around there. At least
right.
it was.
So that's why I was very lucky to move there, even though it was kind of hellish and I hated it in a way. But once I got old enough, like where I could just, which was middle school, where I had older friends and I could just like go to shows whenever I wanted, pretty much.
Sure.
Also,
it was great.
Wisecracking, you start wisecracking, and then you start cracking the wise asses.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
a new one. I mean, I'm gonna write that. That's my phrase of the day.
So
You start as a wisecracker, and you might have to then crack a wise ass.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit this because I don't want to sidetrack too much, but people in Pittsburgh said we might have had the same heckler that like we both went at.
Yes,
so you were there, right?
I was just a duo of Lydia and I, and that was some
tell
Chinese.
Tell it the way you saw it.
There was some throwing star action happening with,
hell yeah.
But it happened to be a wine glass.
So maybe that's why he stood more far away this time. He was like hiding somewhere and
I'll tell a bit more of the story.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some asshole, there's always one. It's usually a male. There's not always one anymore for me, but this guy took a chance.
Yeah.
Well, he showed up
twice
Pittsburgh.
For me.
He showed up wasted.
Right. That sounds right.
I think he had a lot of expectations, or well, actually,
he wanted to be abused. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think
that's what he wanted.
He wants to be publicly humiliated.
Yeah, totally.
By a woman.
Yeah.
Or in Lydia's case. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, he did. Because I was like, motherfucker, who are you? Like, what do you want? I'm like, come up here and I'm gonna fucking bash you with my guitar in the head. So.
Well, the thing is, all the rest of the audience was nervous because.
Yes.
Because there was like a talk back. Lydia did
all the rest of the audience is really into it, wants to hear every.
And so then the tension's building, and we don't.
Finally,
and people don't know. Finally, here comes the throwing star wine glass.
Because I, for some reason, deadly aim when it's time to throw something.
Yes,
me too. Oh my god, we have that in common.
Smashes and
hell yeah,
place erupts. Everyone's like, "Fuck you!" And
everyone's happy that
he's dragged out by the bouncer. He's dragged out by the bouncer, kicking and screaming. And he's like, "Ah!" And then many witnesses. He's outside, and he's like, "I've been assaulted, and I'm gonna call the police," and blah blah blah. And everyone's like, "Okay." And then when the eyes were kind of off of him, he kind of just snuck away in the shadows and was head down, publicly humiliated, and
no idea my relationship with the police, which is
he did a fake call actually. That's what it was. He did a fake call. Like, is this the police? But there was there was like no one there.
By the way, when I moved to Pittsburgh, there was a false rumor that I went there to become a cop because there was a gal there, Lou Ann, who had red hair when I had red hair. They said, "Oh, Lydia moved to Pittsburgh to become a cop." Whatever. So I cop my own shows for sure.
There was also another heckler, but it was a different guy in Pittsburgh. It was like an older gay guy.
I lived there for 4 years. I loved it. Nobody heckled me when I lived there.
That's the only place I've been heckled twice.
Well, it's when they're drunk.
Yeah.
Well, I had me and who was it? One of the members of It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's a different point. But one of my friends was at one of the shows that we did in Pittsburgh, and there was a young mom there, and she's like, "Oh, I want to buy you some drinks, and you must be this certain level wizard because you're in Lydia's circle, and that wouldn't happen otherwise." And she's like, "Well, let's go to this other bar and get some more drinks." And I'm like, "Sure." We get into her pickup truck. And she goes, "By the way, in my past life, I was a NASCAR racer."
Oh my God.
And I'm like, uh-oh. And at which point we start gunning it. And
okay,
I'm about to die because she's drunk.
Yes.
And she's and you know all the hills and the twists.
Oh, yeah.
She's getting, I'm not exaggerating, getting air going over these hills.
It's Coney Island, those hills.
I mean, fucking going insane. And you know what I do have to say? She might be a reincarnated NASCAR driver because her skills were insane. She actually was really insanely good at driving.
I love a lady with a pickup truck. But
it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Anyway.
Anyway,
there's a record player in your 7th or 8th grade. You start playing DJ with the Cholitas. And then when you decide, all right, that's enough. I got to take this to the stage. That's it. I got to get up.
Oh God. Yeah. That took a few years. Well, so in middle school, my friends and I tried out for like the, what do you call it? The talent show or something. And we tried to play a song, but they were like not having it. And it was a cover of this DC like band Tuscadero that was on the label Teen Beat. But then like when I went to do my own thing, finally, I met my friend who, I met my friend at a show at the Black Cat because I passed out because I didn't have a ride home. And it was to see the Dirty Three. It was like 1997. I saw the Dirty Three were playing. And I passed out like in this one little like booth area of the Black Cat. And he was like, came up and tapped me and was like, there was this weird guy kind of like, you know, clocking you or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, I was sitting in like the sort of like the line of sight of my friend who was a bartender. So I didn't feel like worried. But anyway, I met this guy, Gary, and he was like, do you want to be in my film? Like here's like part of the script and the ideas. He was like trying to make like an American, like sort of like French New Wave film, like on an 8mm. And I was like, okay, like, sure. And then I let this guy give me a ride home. I'm like 16. He has a fucking van, like a rapist van.
Never trust a man with a van. Always trust a woman with a pickup truck.
I know, totally. I used to have a pickup truck, but no, he became my friend. Like I got very lucky. I'm alive because I got lucky way too many times because I have a lot of.
That's why there's so much blood and like near murder, death, or violence in your videos.
Yeah.
Do you believe in good?
Yeah,
do you believe in good luck points?
You're killing.
Do you believe in good luck points? Do you think you do run out of them if you use too many of them?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like it is fucking luck. Like a lot of time. I mean, my friend and I were kidnapped when we were like 16, 17.
By who?
And by, again, a guy. We went to because this
with
is
a van.
Thing. No, he had like, whatever. I don't even remember because I was blackout drunk.
Well, hello. Lesson once again, I hope learned.
Yeah,
I was blackout, babes.
I was fine. My friend was not so fine. But anyway, I made it home like 7 a.m. My mom is like coming outside like to go to work, walk the dog or some shit. And she's like, what the hell? Are you just getting home? I didn't know what had happened because I just fell asleep in the car. But anyway, sorry, sidetracked. So then I'm like, yeah. So I met this guy, Gary, actually, his name's Gary Rohr, and he like went on to do stuff with like, I saw you're playing with him actually, this band CCR Head Cleaner, like Teenage Jesus is, I think, playing with them in San Francisco. Is that coming up?
Yeah, she's doing a Teenage Jesus in San Francisco.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, yeah, I saw the flyer and they're on it. Anyway, he went on to do stuff with other people, but like, so this is, like 1997. I get in the van with him, like we become friends. I'm very lucky. He's actually pretty normal person he's not a murderer at least, or a rapist. But anyway, he encouraged me because I was taking guitar lessons and I was just kind of like, I'd taken piano lessons when I was younger, and then I kind of played trumpet when I was in school band. Like that's what was forced on me. I wanted to play saxophone because I want to like rip it up like like Little Richard's like saxophone. Like I want to be on top of a piano like ripping it up. But anyway,
you can rip it up on trumpet, not in the same way.
Yeah, no.
Trumpet's harder. It's a harder instrument to play, to learn.
It's harder, and it doesn't have that like phallic, like you're moving it. I don't know. It's like, sorry, but
always time to bring the sax back in.
No, I eventually did it myself, but yeah. Anyway, so guitar playing, I was sort of like, taking lessons. I'm like, this is really like boring, and this is not what I want to be doing. Like, I want to make noise and stuff like that. And he was the one that's sort of like, we were playing, and he was like, yeah, like the stuff you're into and like whatever, like you seem like you'd have like a really original, like your own style. And that like just clicked the light. Like, I'm like, yeah, what? Like, I'm into all these bands. Like, I'm into like,
what is my style?
Yeah, exactly. Where it was kind of like, I'm into all these bands that don't really like play like in a traditional way or like orthodox way. Like, why don't I just fucking go for it? And like once we started 4-tracking and messing around, I just was like playing noise on guitar and doing like, sort of stream of consciousness, like really violent vocals, stuff like that. And it just all kind of came together like then in my mind. But it still took me a while to like get it to the stage. Like I felt comfortable recording, but it wasn't until like I was just a singer at first when I like left graduated high school, and then a month later I moved to the Pacific Northwest, and like I just
where'd you move to?
Tacoma.
Wow.
Yes.
Why?
I was dating like an older guy that I met from there, and then he moved to actually because I was supposed to go to school for photography in Richmond, Virginia Commonwealth University, but I just kind of was like, fuck this. Like people from my high school are going there. Like, I don't ever want to see these motherfuckers again. So I just like was like, want to move to where you're from?
Yeah.
So I moved there and like start a band like almost immediately. I put like an ad in The Stranger, and then it just sort of all, yeah. So yeah, then
once you had the taste for the stage, that was it.
Pretty much, yeah. And like it just felt like the most free I had ever been, like free of.
Had you always been writing? Because your lyrics are really surrealistic, wacky. I love them. Strange. I'd love to have copies of them actually, because when I'm listening to the videos, I can only get so much, but they're really good and they're really weird and they're really forensics.
Well, that means a lot coming from you. I don't want to be like teacher's pet on here, but I'm like coming from.
I like teacher's pets. Why do you think I'm teaching some pets over there?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, coming from the person who, really like sparked my mind.
Thank you.
It means a lot. But
have you thought about publishing a book of your poetry, of your lyrics? 48-hour publishing, very cheap, $4 to get a book in a few weeks, and they can sell them for good. If you're going on tour, sell them. It's people like to see the words.
48-hour books? No, I didn't even
48-hour digital publishing. It's like $4 to get a book printed, and there's no limit on how many you can print. You can print 50 at a time.
Wow, that's incredible. Oh, sorry, go on.
I did a book like that with Joseph Keckler for Australia.
Oh, I had that. Yeah, that's
great. That was, digital printing.
That's fucking amazing. Yeah,
they send you the template. I really think that you should do that. Do you print your lyrics with your records or not?
So this last one is the Promiscuous Genes is the first time I did it. People had been bugging me.
I'm bugging you now, honey.
Yeah. People have been bugging me for quite a long time because they're like, oh, I like the lyrics, but I can't really understand them sometimes, blah, blah, blah. So
what's great about the videos that I was sent, what's great is the lyrics are clear. You can hear them, because live, it's always, this is the problem live. If the vocals are not audible, it's just I can't stand it.
No.
Well, anyway, 48-hour digital printing, I'm just saying we all need your lyrics. And even if you get 50 copies, sell them for 20 each, you're making a profit, honey bunny. All right. It's the advice for the day.
Thank you. Well, my friend in New Zealand that does like a publishing slash like record label is doing a book of like a Rizzo print book of my lyrics, but it's kind of more of a collection of things like over the years. I just like pick, but it's not, I haven't, now that things are settling down, I have to go back to it and like get everything set up. But like, anyway, that will happen eventually.
But you know what? I'm cattle prodding your beautiful hiney right now. So eventually means tomorrow.
No, this that I can just do I mean, that's incredible. Do they do images by any chance? Not to go
Yes,
on.
just go to it and they send you templates and everything.
Because I did a photography book through, I just did like a Kinko's. I just did a printing through Kinko's, and it was nice and everything.
Does Kinko's still exist?
Oh, it's FedEx Kinko's, I guess.
Oh, okay, right.
Maybe some of them, they took the Kink. Anyway, I'm very angry about this. So this is like kind of ruined my life because since I was young, I was going to Kinko's and it was open 24 hours and I could just spend all night there. I could fucking finish the like album art like in the place, just being like, you know, like putting the pedal to the metal and like just hyper focusing. And now it's just like I'm lost. There is no place that has, you know, nothing has replaced it. It's just a vacuum.
Well, actually, no, I did hear that Kinko's has come back, but in the form of a fetish oriented cereal. So like everything's shaped and different things called Kink-O's.
Okay, Tim.
Terrible. Dad.
So wait, so you printed some of your photographs at Kinko's?
I printed a like a book.
How did it look though? It's at Kinko's.
No, it did look good, but like some of the like cutting, because they cut it really weird, but then they just give those to me for free, which was pretty nice. But they're expensive and they become like, I'm trying to remember, I think they were $15. Like,
yeah, that's expensive. So I don't know about 48-hour digital printing I'm sure you can have some images, but I say, you know, it's really fast and easy to get just the words down and get it made. Then you start selling it. And it's, you know, we love to have books. Some of us still like books.
Oh, yeah.
Thousands of records behind you, but some of us still also like books.
Those are downstairs and over there. But yeah, I mean, it's something I've been wanting to do. I just didn't know. So thank you. I just didn't know where to go. There's like, you Google something and then it's just like all the worst AI
you have to look at so many fucking places. Somebody has to tell you. The same with any kind of like merch stuff. Stickers printed. No, you get lost. Gotta have something. Yeah. Oh, here. There's
that's kind of. Yeah. That's kind of, I've gotten lucky because, which is another thing on my list of to-dos now that the album is done and like we still have like some tours to go, but I don't know. I have a little break, like a respite in July, and I want to get my website up and running better. And my friend Joe Picarello, who does Minimum Table Stocks, like gave me a guy's name that's his friend, and so finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get all
time to do it
because it's another job that somebody has to do that we don't necessarily have to do it. Can't do it. I mean, I'm very lucky that I have people running my Instagram, running my Facebook, running my website. I don't have time for that, but it needs to be updated. And you need to, because it's our billboard. I mean,
and it's
let's
super
face it,
annoying.
We're not. Nobody's writing about us in the fucking press.
No,
your billboard. Nobody's touching us.
No,
touching ourselves. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to do it, because otherwise, I'm going to wait around another like 25 years for someone to like give a fuck.
Oh, tragedy. I know.
So
am I going to wait around another 46 years?
Yes.
From the time I started working. All right. So Tacoma, then that relationship must break up.
Oh God. Yeah. I realized quickly he was very jealous. Because he wanted to be in a band but he didn't really have anything. So like going, like he didn't really have ideas or whatever. So as you know, when I put the ad in, he was like, I said, oh, you know, I said something like, I'm fucking 18. Like I pretty much had just graduated high school, like maybe months before. And I'm like, oh, you know, naive me, but it wasn't naive. That's the thing. He treated it as naive because I was like, well, when they answer my ad, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And this is what, like, I had this whole plan. And he's like, the ad hasn't even come out yet. Like,
doesn't mean you don't have a plan.
Yeah. And then it was like, I was like in your fucking face because the next day, like when it, or whatever, the next few days when it did come out, someone answered it within like hours of them seeing it, that like that day, and then the band was off and running, and I was like, haha, fuck you.
By the way, I just read an article that Tacoma, Washington, Ted Bundy, Green River Killer, and a third killer,
yes,
that they're claiming because Tacoma pre-industrial was really pristine, and then all the industry came in, and now all that pollution, because I mean the Northwest is serial killing grounds.
Yeah,
I was wondering if the lead, the arsenic, the poison didn't affect. I'm sure it did, and it might have affected the guy who moved there with. And then you have to get out because they're toxic.
Yeah, I mean, well, so growing up in also like where I grew up and was born is like toxic.
Yeah.
It's Appalachia, it's
mining,
mining, like all of that, whatever, I can't think.
Yeah, particles and
particles.
You're in the particle, you're in the mining, I'm in the Rust Belt. This is like, I mean, my 3 cousins die of brain cancer. We're lucky we're still alive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, like, my aunt has like an insane autoimmune disorder. My sister and my mom got Guillain-Barré finally, which like totally just like it paralyzed her. She was in the ICU for like 6 months.
Oh, terrible.
We didn't know she'd walk again, all of that. So
any black lung in your family?
This crap is environmental. Genetics and environmental, but we live in filth.
Totally. I mean, like you said, everything, it's like a super fun site. I mean, that's what we live in. But yeah, I mean, the 2 people, like I would say, sorry, mom and dad, but the 2 people I love the most, like in my life when I was like a child, died with like from emphysema. My great-grandfather and his best friend, who were both miners together, like union members together. They both died of emphysema within a year of each other. I
think that early death, my grandmother dying in bed with me when I was 6, staying in the living room for 3 days. I think that is also what pushed us to start very early, that we knew we had to start going.
Yeah.
We had to get going. That's it.
That makes
before
sense.
We're gone.
Yeah, it makes sense because it had a huge impact on me, like seeing him on oxygen and like all of that before the age of 5.
Yeah.
And just like then dead before the age of 5. And
we'll talk later about I'm going to send you an article about the surrounding death I've been surrounded by, and we can relate on that. So Tacoma.
Well, one thing is you 2 share this, sort of like those horror movies. You heard these voices with the environment you grew up in. Get out. Get out, which is basically what you both did.
Well, and what's weird, Tim, is in spite of that, and I had a lot of early illness, I haven't had a cold, a flu, COVID in like 20 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't get normally sick.
She never got COVID.
I don't get a flu or a cold. I've had food poisoning twice, but I don't get sick. But I got rid of a lot of sickness early, and then just that's enough. Now I just have pain.
So was this boyfriend in Tacoma a sickness? Did you have to like?
Yeah, it was a toxic.
And the band was a vaccine or something. It was like,
I mean, that's a metaphor. Like, I think that like he was definitely sick. He was addicted to painkillers, to like oxys, and I had no idea. Like, I thought I was so a good judge of character, and this guy just like was such a loser, and it's insane. And so we got pulled over. The big turning point was this whole thing with the band and starting the band, and he was so
jealous. He's left out. He can't do his own thing. Wow.
Right. So then we get pulled over. Well, it's within a few days or something of each other. I mean, this is a long time ago, right? But like this is 2000, like the year 2000. But he pulled out his ID to buy beer or something, and it was an ID. It wasn't a driver's license. And I was like, why do you have an ID? And he was like, oh, I lost my driver's license, blah, blah. Well, fast forward like maybe a week, a couple days, we get pulled over and he goes away in handcuffs because his license is suspended and he was lying. And I'm like, this guy is fucking this guy's an idiot. Like, I'm just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah,
so
good.
I moved out and moved in with a friend, because then I made friends from the band that were not his friends. Like, we have to find other members. Did you escape
while he was in the pokey? Did you move out while he
no,
in the middle of the night?
I moved out and then kind of left my stuff there, and then had to go back and deal with my stuff, and then there was like some sort of fights that ensued. He stole some of my stuff, like all that.
Just a dick. Well, goodbye to bad rubbish. How old were you when you started keeping notes taking, making journals, diaries, writing?
Oh yeah, you asked me that earlier, and I was going to answer about the writing thing. So, my cousin and I, when we were in elementary school, started, because she was a really good like fiction writer. Like, she would write little stories and stuff, but they were pretty sophisticated for like a child. That's kind of her gift, is like she got the verbal skills, and so did I. But anyway, we would write these little stories together, and then in middle school we started making up these really fucked up stories where it'd be like, and then acting them out, and my mom and my aunt would get so fucking pissed. But like, we would pretend like we were in this like major catastrophic accident, and then we got sewed together. We like lost half our body, but then they sewed us together for some reason. And so we would talk anyway. So
I mean, beyond Baby Jane. Yeah, like little Baby Jane, Grey Garden, Cronenberg.
Yes. Yeah.
I can see it. I can absolutely envision it. Now we're sewn together, little human centipedes.
Right. And so we would perform it in the backseat of the car, because you could put your arm behind and then scoot together, and we'd both do it. We'd be doing it in the backseat of the car. My mom and my aunt would both be like, "That's really gonna happen to you. You're gonna end up that way. Stop.
You're gonna end up like Boxing Helena, just from the belly button up." But I mean, in you telling these stories about your childhood weirdness, it's really reflected in your videos, because there is kind of a childlike sickness about it. This is like a sick little girl being naughty, digging through the mud and finding bloody parts, holding like amputated legs, even if they're just like from a from a mannequin. I mean, it's like the baby girl child of Eminem's 3 a.m. in the morning, my favorite video.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just an apt description.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I love that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was doing all that. I would see, it started like, it didn't come out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't like a tabula rasa and then I'm just a freak. Like, I was watching movies that I shouldn't have been seeing, because my friend's dad, who was a biker, who would also, and my mom and my dad like would let me watch anything I wanted. And then also
we're talking horror movies.
Yeah, all of it.
What were some of your favorites as a kid?
Oh my God. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a very early.
And it views repeating, because
oh my God.
I mean, the thing is, so much of it was improvised, or they're really locked in that dining room for 24 hours straight.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
It's incredible. Yes. It's horrific. And it's kind of unequaled.
Franklin in a wheelchair is being massacred.
Oh,
I mean, what?
And it's like, it's funny, it's fucked up. It's got all of it. So, in the film, the way it's shot, like
it's imaginative too. It's imaginative.
Oh yeah,
and horrific and possible possible.
Yes, that's the thing. My mom's always like, she's like more afraid of these like really insane stories, more so than like serial killers, which is another thing. She's a forensics file freak, which she eventually had to stop watching because she lives with my grandmother now, because my grandmother's like 93. And it scared my grandmother will have nightmares. So she kind of secretly watches it now, whereas it was always on, like it felt like 24/7.
I think women are forensic fanatics. They just are. And I don't know if it's because, for me, it's like, well, I'm not the one being murdered. I want to know how to get away with justice. Right. I have to. And also, it's just the psychological repercussions of how somebody can either get away with it or be so stupid to do it, not realizing they are, not especially now, going to be caught. But it's also the voice of the narrators, specifically Forensic File, Peter Todd.
Oh, yeah.
His narration is so good. I mean, there are some shows, they might be about forensics, it just doesn't pull me in. Or still Dateline and 48 Hours. They have a formula. but I can't believe, how did they get so many episodes? I mean, like,
it's called America. It's called America.
Yeah, I know.
It's called America.
It's
it's called America. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so like
horror films.
Oh yeah, horror film. So yeah,
video store junkie, like you're going.
Oh yeah, like okay, so we had this like local, like in Tennessee, we had this like hillbilly couple, but they were all, this awesome hillbilly couple that were like, Kilynn, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, what movie scared you? Like, whatever, I'm 7 or something. And she's like, oh, well, Monkey Shines. Like, this just came out.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so like that kind of stuff. And then my mom's like, I'm not renting that. And then I'm like, well, Dad will. So, so that whole thing.
Oh yeah, well, I had my dad, because I asked my dad, they wouldn't rent to under 18 Silent Night, Deadly Night, because it's about a serial killing Santa Claus. And they didn't want to fuck up the kids,
right?
And my dad would rent it for us, and we're like, ask Dad, go get a Silent Night, Deadly Night. And he goes to the clerk. He's like, do you have Silent Night, Deadly Night? And the guy's like, unfortunately, yes.
I don't like remakes of horror, but I have to say, Elijah Wood, that little cuddly tiny thing, and Maniac, he did a remake of Maniac. I was kind of impressed with that.
Like the Joe Spinell, like
he
Maniac.
did a remake. And
I love that Maniac.
It's pretty good. And it's Elijah Wood is really perverse and wonderful. Did you see Long Legs with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, we saw that in the theater.
I saw that on the airplane. But what I love is that it's directed by Anthony Perkins' son. Loved Anthony.
Yes.
I just saw also on the plane Monkey, which is his follow-up to Long Legs.
Oh, right. I haven't seen that one.
I mean, it's kind of cheesy, funny, but Long Legs, amazing. I mean, more T-Rex to horror films.
The newest, the newest Final Destination still in the theater. I still want to see that there, which is kind of comedy. I mean, did you start like once you got past maybe the good ones? Did you dive deeper for like just the sillier, outrageous, gory ones? You went through all of them probably.
But as a kid, the video store, I mean, that's what you lived off of. I mean, that was like, almost like your library.
Yeah, it's like that was the thing that made life bearable. And then like films and books and music, like that was the thing.
Were you reading? Like, were you reading Shirley Jackson?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Shirley Jackson.
You've always lived in the castle. Yeah.
Well, it depends on the kind of time period, but I got really into, actually probably thanks to you. I mean, no, definitely it would have to be thanks to you. I got even more into like the kind of Southern Gothic stuff because I loved like Flannery O'Connor, and then I read Cormac McCarthy, Bastard out of Carolina. Then it's like, in high school, I wrote about Harry Crews, and that was because I was introduced to his work through you, and I loved it. And that was like, it made so much sense to me. And that's why, I mean, Lynch made sense to me at an early age, like all of these things, because I'm like, the areas I lived in, it's like people...
You're living there. You're living in Harry Crews land.
Well, yes, and my dad is telling us stories as like, to scare us, because my dad is like one of those people. I didn't get to that, I guess, but he liked to like his grandmother was a piano player in like silent movies, and she loved horror movies. Like she played in jute joints, blah blah blah. She was like this hard drinking, hard smoking lady, and she was fucking awesome, and she died when I was really young too.
Tennessee or West Virginia?
Like Southwest Virginia area. West Virginia, Southwest.
I can hear her now.
Yeah,
she was a badass.
Yeah, she was a badass. She would fucking take a guy out. Like she, so that was like those people were like heroes to me. Like I just looked at them, and my dad would always tell me, she loved horror movies. So that kind of, was in the genealogy, and like, my dad would like show up, like he'd hang out with us, like the neighbors' kids or whatever would come over, and we'd watch like Children of the Corn, and then he'd be like,
love that one. Malachi.
Yeah. He'd do that. He'd bang on the window. He'd go out and bang on the window, like do things on the window, tap on the window.
Hey, Tim, the Graveyard Trailer, Jeffrey Dahmer, ribs in my hand, banging on the window.
Lydia, under the influence of a good horror movie, can
take it to the next level.
It sneaks into character sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But if I don't like it, but also you can't watch a horror film with me because I mean, I'm very specific in what I like. And I'm just like, you fucking idiots, there's 5 of you, and you're letting one person show. I'm like, I get so furious. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're idiots, I can't stand it. Stop it. Throw a punch.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
unless it's like Dahmer with Evan Peters, then I get a little excited.
What's your favorite horror movie where the killer is a woman?
Oh God. Well, I think that's easy. I think that's easy because there aren't enough. It's probably Miss 45.
Of course. Yeah.
And then I really love I Spit on Your. Actually, I'm reading a book that was recommended to me like 5 million years ago, but my friend who I was helping him pack. He was a professor. He's retired
I Spit
now.
on Your Grave.
But I was just gonna say, so I'm reading this book. It's Men, Women, and Chainsaws. And they talk a lot about the hero victim of the woman. And now it's, she was the first person, this woman that wrote the book, was the first person to come up with the term final girl.
Final girl.
Yes, exactly.
But you need to pick up Kayla Janice's The House of Psychotic Women.
Oh, wow.
That fat. She's been on the show. Queen of horror, but also how it related to her life and how women in horror films, they're victimized, then they become the victim, the victor, and how they've changed over the years and through different countries. The House of Psychotic Women.
Oh, yeah.
On Amazon.
Friday the 13th, the first one. It's the mom of Jason, who's the killer. And then, of course, you have Misery, that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have Sleepaway Camp, which is kind of like
a
even
rip-off.
more...
Yeah. No, the Sleepaway Camp's classic. When I do check out like serial killing statistics, when they are women, the amount of times that they are actually nurses or basically in situations where people are dependent on them, and that's when they then they go for the kill.
Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah, the Munchausen. Yeah.
Munchausen. I've termed it Lunchhausen.
Lunchhausen, yeah.
That's when the Lydians become violent with, knives.
Perfect.
Lunchhausen syndrome.
I don't know. I'm pretty specific in my taste, but I'm also just into so much shit, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I got really into USA Up All Night and all of that stuff that was on at the time. Yeah. So it's like I was just kind of watching all of it because I loved just all, like, I liked Trauma, but I liked more elevated, at the time, Cronenberg, that's like the elevated.
I mean, early Cronenberg on video, Dead Ringers video.
Yeah, that's like, I was obsessed. I was turned on by the people in the movies and like in love with them, right? Like, and then also just like they're the most like horrifying, grotesque movie.
Let me give a shout out to what was supposed to be called Pussy Island by Zoe Kravitz, but now is called Blink Twice, which is like an Epstein Island.
Right, I haven't seen that one either. Did you like it?
It's good for what happens, and it's good that she did it.
Yeah.
And it should have been called Pussy Island, but anyway, it's in there, and it really is like Epstein Island, and there is revenge taken, which is necessary, of course. So,
see, that's what I love.
So, all right. Yeah, sorry. So then, when do you decide to go to Philadelphia?
Oh, Philadelphia. So
that's where we met when you were in Taiwan Housing Project, which I love that name. I don't even know what it means, but I love that name so much.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Well, it came about because of these like so I was living in Southeast Asia. I was living in Thailand for almost a year.
How so? Why?
It was another I got to get the fuck out of here moment.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I was in Portland, Oregon, and it was becoming more and more and more expensive, and like just like the type of people there. I just wanted to like do like Death Race 2000. Like every time I was in a car, I'm just like, And
did you know anybody in Thailand?
Well, my friend who I met through my old band, Little Claw, she had put us up in Portugal. Her boyfriend at the time had booked our tour over in Europe. And so anyway, I became good friends with her and stayed in touch with her. And then she was going there to do, because Portugal's economy was like just collapsing.
Pigs.
Post Euro, the implementation of the Euro. Yeah. And so she was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I can't get a job in my field anymore. Because she was a film person. She had gone to school for film, and she worked on some of the films that are like on Criterion and stuff, but as like a production, head of production, sort of whatever person.
So decides to go to Thailand?
Yeah, decides to go to Thailand to teach, like do this program where you train to teach English as a second language. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do that, because I'm at a point where this is like post 2008, the economy crashed here.
Everything sucks. Let's get out of here. New reality.
Yeah. And I'm graduating from college at that point, because I went to college kind of late. So then I'm just like, all right. And so I put all my stuff in storage, go there. And anyway, there's these houses, and they're called the Sanji UFO houses. And these are in Taiwan, which I also went to, but just traveling. But anyway, that's kind of what they were inspired by, because they were these supposed to be these luxury beach homes that look like those, those bubble pod homes.
Right.
But then nobody wanted them. Like, nobody bought these. They just sat moldering, and then squatters took them over. Right. And then it became a squatter community. Because none of the wealthy people of Taiwan wanted to vacation in Taiwan. So it was the dumbest.
Elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's what it's inspired
by.
From
the molding debris of a wasted housing project came Taiwan Housing Project.
Exactly.
Which was your kind of more punky, aggressive, before you took to solo, which I think is great.
Thank you.
But so you're in Thailand for a year. That must have been great anyway. Great food.
Yeah. Oh my God. And just everything is open all night. Whatever. You could walk down the street and there's vendors all night. I'm a night person. I have trouble sleeping. So it's if I can go out.
Yes, we do. Sleep for amateurs.
Yeah, exactly. So then I ended up, it's 2010. Then I'm okay, because I started getting sick a lot because of the heat and then the air conditioning and going back and forth.
And also air conditioning filters not being
clean. Those are
that's deadly.
So it was
literally
bugs,
bugs, heat bites.
Yeah. So respiratory, sort of a chronic respiratory infection. So anyway, I had to come back and try to, rehabilitate it. Recuperate a bit. And so my mom and my mom's side of the family, she's from Delaware, and she had moved back there when she left my dad. And I graduated. We all packed up and moved out. Actually, it was my sister, my mom went to Delaware, and I went to Tacoma. But anyway, I was finally okay, I'm gonna go live close to my family again, because I felt like
you were dying.
Well, I was dying. I had no job, and I couldn't really work right away. So I just
you were sick.
I needed finally to go sort of back there and try to figure out another plan, which at that time I thought I was going to go to LA and rejoin with my old bandmate from Little Claw and do that again. But I decided eventually that it just made more sense to stay in Philly, and I liked Philly. I met a lot of people I liked.
Suburbs. You're in Jersey.
I'm in Jersey now. Yeah, halfway between New York and Philly. To make it.
Is that and near Frenchtown?
Frenchtown, I think, was 45 minutes away. I'm trying to remember.
New
Brunswick. What'd you say?
How did we meet in Frenchtown?
Well, because we went to see you.
I know, and I was
we drove.
Where are these girls coming from? I know them, but
we were doing a concert, Lydia. People come to see your shows.
Yeah, I know, but I was so taken aback. I'm oh, of course.
Yeah, you didn't. Well, it's hard.
I didn't recognize you. No, because I'm in Frenchtown, which is a little thing.
You see people out of context it throws you off. Yeah,
it throws you off, and it gives me a lot of anxiety sometimes, because I'm where the fuck do I know this person from?
Oh, yeah.
And I hate when people go, don't you? No, you should just say, hey, remember, I'm
right.
But then I caught on eventually.
Yeah, I guess I feel like Samantha.
Also out of place. Seeing Samantha there. And totally reconfigured herself as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
anyway,
Sorry about the confusion there with that, but yeah.
What are you doing? And are you liking Jersey?
I do. I feel a little isolated, I guess, because I hate driving. I like to be able to walk outside and just like go and do what I need to do.
For now, you can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheaper than it was. So Thomas, my fiance, he works in New York in like Midtown, and then that's impossible. And he was in Brooklyn for 10 years. And then the pandemic hit, and then he moved to Philly. Like because we were trying to figure out what we were gonna do. We're like, okay, I'm in Philly, you're in New York.
And when you have already the nomad in you, as I do, it's like I'm always thinking, where next? Where next?
Yes.
Always. Every 2 weeks, where next? Anyway, we have to close this out.
Oh, yeah.
You traveling gypsy.
Plug some stuff that we didn't touch on.
What's right now coming out? So the videos that you sent, which are fantastic, late night, scary girl, digging grave, kind of forensic, air the teenage boys away. And the new album is called
Promiscuous Genes.
Okay. And is that out now?
Yeah, that's out now. That came out in May.
Okay.
And so and
it's under your name.
Yeah, it's under my name. The last one was under my name, and this one is under my name. And yeah, to try to like keep it. So my friend and I record the albums, like record the songs kind of like in our little laboratory. And then like the live band we do an interpretation of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's like anybody's memorizing what's on the record anyway. And if they are, get over it.
Yeah. So it's fun to do have the two interpretations, but, yeah, I'm just trying to play as many shows as possible. Like right now in September, we're doing a show. I mean, I don't know when this is coming out, so probably not helpful to say something that's happening.
Well, probably next week. But...
Okay, we're playing 2 shows this week, but then I'm trying to think next week what's happening. We might be playing another show. I can't remember.
Well, all right, you're just looking for shows.
Yeah, we're just looking for shows. We're trying to go to Europe at the beginning of next year. And we're doing a tour again in September around like the South, and we're hitting
so what's the live show consist of now?
The live show consists of we're playing a show at TBI with Live Skull. Sorry, Thomas just
when's that?
Over here. So that's July 3rd. Cool. Yes.
If you go, we can list you.
I'd love to go. I don't have anything going on. I'm leaving, so I'm doing a short film actually with my friend next week. I'm flying to LA, but that isn't until the end of the week. But yeah, I'm trying to do more film stuff, as you mentioned the music videos. So that's I'm trying to work on. I wrote a song for a web series that it's actually for the character to play because she's in a band. So I kind of wrote it from her mind, tried to embody her mind. But yeah, we're just trying to tour, and we're doing a loop and going to the South, going to Georgia again. I really love Georgia. So going to Georgia.
I love going to the South. I love the South.
Yes, me too.
From Louisville down.
Yep, I love Louisville. Doing that in September, and then the beginning of next year, we're working on booking Europe, beginning mid next year.
And this is the Lydia and Spin with Lydia Lunch, Tim Donnie. I like to call her Kilynn, but I know it's Kilynn Lunsford. And her new album is out, and go check out her Bandcamp and her videos if you like creepy girl stuff. Because I do. Because I'm a fucking creep, honey. You came to the right place. Thank you, darling.